As one of the agency's best employees, you've been selected as a finalist to potentially take on new top secret mission. You've already shown your aptitude for surveillance and disguise, but the agency is looking to test one last critical skill: how well you can drive. To prove yourself, you only need to complete a series of complicated challenges behind the wheel. As the test begins, you notice that distances between yourself and the cars around you are being meticulously monitored. One of the most widely recommended One of the most widely recommended strategies when it comes to safe driving is known as defensive driving. It doesn't mean driving paranoid, but rather making a conscious effort to anticipate potential errors and accidents. For example, keeping a 3-second distance from a car in front of you increases your chance of stopping in time. If traffic suddenly halts, you soon approach your first obstacle, a sudden lane closure. While many assume that good driving etiquette requires them to merge as soon as possible, most safety studies suggest the opposite. Continuing at a consistent speed until you reach a lane endpoint, and then zipper merging decreases the number of potentially dangerous lane switches. And this doesn't just improve safety, it also keeps traffic moving. One study found that using signs that encourage drivers to zipper merge can reduce traffic backup lengths by 40%. Your phone lights up. It's the agency. Should you pick it up? While it might seem easy to multitask while you drive, most people can't balance driving with anything else effectively. It's estimated that 80% of accidents happen when drivers look away from the road, and just because your hands on the wheel doesn't mean you're not distracted. In one study, drivers who were talking on the phone hands-free had delayed braking reaction and made as many mistakes as drivers who were intoxicated. And those who think they are expect and those who think their exception to the rules might be the most at risk. People who self-identify as multitask pros tend to perform worse at tests that require dividing their attention. Suddenly, a car cuts you off, and your hands instinctively move toward home. You are not alone. Up to a third of drivers report that they acted aggressively on the road, honking and shouting at another driver. Road rage is Road rage is thought to be sparked by perception of other drivers as reckless, rude, or even deliberately trying to impede you, and it's typically exacerbated by personal factors like stress or being in a rush. But some psychologists theorize that you can feel isolated from others while in your cars and therefore somewhat anonymous. This may make us this may make us more prone to act aggressively or to even retaliate against other drivers. But being aware of this tendency and practicing relaxation techniques like taking a deep breath in the moment and can help you avoid these hot-tempered situations. Finally, you approach your last test, a stop sign, but you don't see it. You mistakenly cruise through without looking and narrowly miss an accident. Mistakes don't feel great, but they're actually a valuable part of learning. This is especially true for new drivers. In one study, participants who practiced using driving simulator that tracked their errors performed better on subsequent driving tests. And like any skill, becoming an expert like any skill, becoming an expert driver takes time and practice. After all, controlling a vehicle while properly assessing your surroundings and following the often complicated rules of the road is not easy feat. A majority of drivers first learn in their teens and early 20s when the brain is uniquely wired to learn from new experiences and take on risk and challenges. New drivers can take full advantage of this window of opportunity, beginning with short familiar journey to build confidence and then tackling as many different driving conditions as they can. You arrive back at the agency feeling defeated, but you're surprised. But to your surprise, you are handed an envelope with all the assignment details. While you may have made a few mistakes, it turns out you are the only agent who can parallel park.